your top cap. Hold on to everything. We'll take this guy and we're going to flop it down. Make sure everything is compressed in there. This is the only thing I hate doing about this on the bike stand. Put one spacer down below, like so. And then as I'm holding that, like I said, this is where it gets tricky. Put this down, like so. Our top 3 spacers, our top cap, and get our bolt on the ground. We'll put that in and start threading it back in. Now this bolt, remember, this is not going to keep the stem from swinging from side to side. You're not worried about that right this second. So, grab your bearing. Big thing you're doing is you're compressing your bearings. Compressing the spacers out of the bearing at this point in time. This still will move. It's going to take a little bit. Sorry about that. It's going to take a little bit of force to move this guy now and align it, but it can be done. It's not a one-handed job. So right there, see we got that. We're going to turn this up a little bit more because we want the rise to be up. So we're going to loosen these guys just a tad, not much. And we're going to adjust them so that when you're here, you want them in the, that's where it's a little tricky. You don't want to see lines on either side, and you're going to adjust it so that when you're in the up, like so, you should see the dot more forward, and your writing is towards the front, is going to be actually on the front of it, okay? And you're not looking at the rise of the you're looking to see the point where these guys come back, like so. So you want the rise to be up, and then you want the angle of the bars to be going back as much as possible. And we are right there. At this point now, I'm going to take the bond this side and just tighten it a couple turns each. Now, one tip on something like this with standard handlebars. I have a small Bontrager 5 Newton meter torque wrench. So because this is 5 Newton meters, if I don't want to pull out my other torque wrench, I can just come here and cross tighten with this. I'm not going to be able to use it on these bolts because you're talking about a bigger bolt. This is just a 4 millimeter. And once you feel it click, you are done torquing. And that should be done. So your handlebars now should be able to stay in place. Not have any problems with your handlebars. We're not going to need that anymore for this bike, so I'm going to kind of put it away. I only keep it with my road bikes because they use 4 millimeter with 5 millimeters, so I use it for that. So we are pretty even flow back like so, and if I have to, I can adjust that a little bit more. Now, the next thing I want to do is, because I want these guys off of here, so I'm going to get our sorry, 5 millimeter once again. Now, see, the problem with this is it rose too much. This stem, it had too much of a rise. Well, it's too long, and I don't want to be out in front of the bike that far. So, because of that, so. One of the things, shifters go on first, and that's, you notice, so lesson learned. Ain't gonna go over it far enough. Yep, so we have to loosen up our, pull out our torque wrench. In effect, it's a T-handle. It's a little bit easier to adjust it. I'm gonna have to slide the bars over and then we're gonna have to adjust it. I didn't even think about that. Sorry, put the brake levers over. I'm going to adjust it in there. We got to do that. Put that on. Slide the brake lever on. Like so. We're going to come over here like this. We're going to grab our Allen key. Loosen these guys up. We're going to need these bar ends, so make sure you pull those plugs out, because we will need them. And then we're going to take this set of handlebars, and we're going to keep the stem and everything on it. So I'm going to put it off to the side here. Okay. So slide that sucker on. Slide this sucker on. And then now we can rotate our bars back up to the position we want them at. Like I said, we want them at a rise position. I'm gonna kind of just guess it. Just later. So the big thing is make sure your spacing is correct on the gap. There you go. So now that's torqued. We can slide we can get now the spacing on for the shifters the way we want them. So if you want them out here, from out here, if you want them farther in, you can put them farther in. What I suggest doing is grab your bars here, come here, and then the question is, do you intend to use bar ends? So if you tend to use bar ends, which I kind of do, the difference is I have some smaller bar ends. I think I'm going to use those instead. So I got some shorter ones. Some slightly shorter ones, and of course these long ones like this that are straight black. We're going to go with the silver ones because these have aluminum bolts. They just look like they would last a little bit longer. So, I will be right back. I'm going to clean these guys. Okay, so back. Got these cleaned off. I took some WD-40, sprayed it on the outsides of these guys. Got them all wiped down, put a little bit of soapy water. Got that done. And now we're going to put them on. I will get the adjustment right in a second. So the first thing we want to do is I'm going to take the big end out, okay? Or sorry, the big end in. Okay, so that end in. So one of the things you do is you can do is you can use rubbing alcohol to do this. You can use any type of liquid. Rubbing alcohol, if you want the stuff on the inside to evaporate very quickly. The rubbing alcohol is the way to go. But if you want the insides, the rubber, to become tacky, then you want to use some WD-40. Now, I didn't know that until I was talking to the bike shop guy, and he's like, yeah, spray some WD-40 on the insides. Not a lot, didn't need a lot. Slip the covers on, or slip the grips on, and then when it dries, the WD-40 dries, it'll become tacky, okay? It'll stick. It'll stick in place, it won't move around. So, I'm going to take a little bit of WD-40 right here. Just like so. Goes on real smooth. Like I said, rub the excess off. Take the excess and wipe it down. Like so. You want to take your bar ends and put the bar ends on, like so. Just like that. Then we can bolt down the bar ends. If I can get the right size. Like so. And then these will dry. And then what we'll do is we're going to take the brakes and the levers and pull them out to that far. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And you want the big end, the big fat end, that's going to be towards your brake levers. Just like so. Get them on. Like that. Take your bar end. The reason you want to get the bar end on now is you want to make sure